Welcome, we're coming to the end of this module, and I realized by kind of re-watching those videos that I tend to talk quite a lot, but please make sure you distill those key learnings that we are talking about, and I try to now make it more concise with less words. So in this video we will be talking about the new perspective on our mentality, and this is one of the outcomes of this module. So we want to appreciate our mental capabilities and know the dangers in the same way as we learned to appreciate our unaliveness. This is part of our human condition to have those mental capabilities, to go automatically into reliving the past, anticipating the future. We do that and to not judge ourselves for that, but to accept that and to also know the dangers of that. And what are the dangers? As I said, they're twofold. It gets us out of our feeling as well, like in general, and also we selectively choose what we want to feel and what we don't want to feel. And this can be dangerous, as we've explored in depth in the last videos. Mentality can be an obstacle to feeling. It can be a tool, a useful tool. I believe this is what it's meant to be before. We can think about, okay, I have this stick and I have this piece of stone, and if I tie it together with this kind of thing, I can build a hammer out of that, and so this allows me to shape even more stones in the way I want to. You see, in like early tribal times, this might have been a very useful thinking. Today we can think, okay, if I do this piece of code and put it on my website on this, you see what I mean? This is all the same. It can be a useful tool, but if you use it in order to anticipate happiness and fulfillment and ease and all those longings that we've been talking about, then we get into deep suffering. So mentality is definitely an obstacle, and I want to be talking about a few things here so we get to a new perspective on our mentality. As I said, number one, it is a tool, none more. And number two, thought in our self-concept. We build a self-concept when we grow up as kids. You know, we want to fit into society, find our role into society. Our parents try to define us, we try to define ourselves. We build a self-concept. But this is nothing more like a symbol, as a symbol. In the same way as the word water is a symbol for the liquid thing you drink, in the same way, me, Florian, or you, whatever your name is a symbol for your entire being. It is not you, it's describing certain chosen characteristics of yourself that you choose to incorporate in your self-concept. So let's not take our self-concept so crucially serious, and let's not make the mistake that we believe this is who we are. You know, the the ideas that we have of ourselves, but more like our beating heart, you know, the nature that we are that's deep within. This is who we are. And also the self-concept comes out of life, you know, the life that we are. It's part of our mental world, but it is not us. So to see the limitations of our self-concept and really examine ourselves deeply, we are part of nature. We are nature and not the idea of Florian, which is my name, or whatever your name happens to be. This is not us. Not exclusively. It's part of us, but it's not entirely us. So this is also another obstacle that the mentality can give, not only getting us out of feelings, but also getting at us deluded about who we are. And then we seek about, you know, proving that we are this and proving that we're not this, all those characteristics that we've assigned ourselves to be. That's not who we really are, you know. And I also said feelings are avoided. We feel selectively when we have a strong ego, so to speak, like a mental world where we choose selectively what we want to feel and what we don't want to feel. And the last thing that I want to share is about thoughts, and I haven't put this on the slides. Thoughts are basically a movement of energy. You can see it like that. Every thought points towards a core wound, and if you haven't examined your thoughts, this might seem far, far out. But every thought, you know, if you follow the pathway of association, takes you deep down into your core emotional wounds that we have. So every thought can be a teacher, every thought can be a learning. See it like that. A thought is like kind of wind. What is wind? Wind is a movement of energy between a kind of positively charged mass of air. I don't find any better words, like a mass of air, and a negatively charged mass of air. And in this imbalance of plus and minus, the wind comes in to balance that out. In the same way, our thoughts come in and try to balance our core wound out, you know, the negative, so to speak, the hole that we feel because we haven't looked at that. So our thoughts point towards those core wounds in order for us to look at them. And so when we are whole within ourselves, we don't have so many thoughts, like so much thought movement anymore. The thoughts get more practical, more like a tool. You see, and this is what mentality actually is meant to be, a tool and not something we derive our sense of self from. And also mentality is a teacher. As I said, you know, the thoughts are movements towards our inner wounds. Oh, it's actually there. Anyway, the thoughts are movements towards our inner wounds. It can be a teacher, we can learn from them. So let's start with appreciating our mentality and getting a new perspective. It's a very, very helpful tool, but it's also very dangerous, getting us out of our feelings, you know, out of touch with our feelings. It builds a self-concept with which we are inclined to not know ourselves anymore, kind of lose our sense of self and derive it exclusively from our self-concept. And also we tend to avoid our feelings by wanting to feel a certain way, not wanting to feel a certain way. But those thoughts, our mentality, can also be a great teacher. And with knowing that, we can then go to the fourth module where we really work with our emotions. But it's crucial to at first understand where are your thoughts actually coming from? What do they want to tell you? Is it just something that happens to me? You know, I'm just kind of weird and mad at some voice chatting in my head or something? No, it's not. It's all there for a reason. It's all there for a purpose. We just need to see that and find that. And so I believe, you know, the core message of this video, or the core outcome, is that we get into the next module with like more ease, because we know that our mentality is not something dangerous, not something against us, but something for us. We won't go deeper into like trauma work, what kind of the thoughts tell us about us, ourselves, but just to see that our mentality is something valuable and, you know, practical actually, and to not be afraid of that anymore. And with this being said, we jump now to the conclusive video, and after that right into module 4.